We've got a special moment we'd like to share as we announce the Dart Media Group's first recipient of the Mike Van Gorden Scholarship.
Well, hi, dog. Hey, how are you? Doing all right, man?
Doing pretty good.
Declan, you doing all right?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we're not here to adopt you. We're here to present you with this.
Oh, awesome.
Congratulations. You're the
Thank you.
first recipient.
Thank you.
Very well. Obviously, you've had a tremendous senior year. Tell everybody a little bit about your plans for post-secondary education.
Well, planning on going to IUPUI for exercise science, and after 4 years, plan on getting a job as a athletic trainer.
That's great.
Hopefully with a professional team.
That's great. Of course, right?
That's awesome.
What do you think you're going to put the $1,000 to use for?
Anything towards school.
You know, what do you think about all the sponsors that you've got that have really made this possible? You know, Dave and I do this as a passion, but really it's the sponsors in the community.
I think it's awesome. It just helps get our school out there.
It does, and you know, their generous contributions make this $1,000 possible, which is really great. So, anything else you'd like to say to your fans that are watching?
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
again. Congratulations.
Congrats on the first ever.
Thank
That's
you.
right.
Dave and I want to thank our very special sponsors, Flat Rock Ag, Larry Moore Construction, Kokomo Grain, Flat Rock Precision, Mux Crane and Contracting, Michael P.D. Armand Attorney, Brammer and Yin, AMPM Express, and Pile Properties. These terrific sponsors are the dollars behind the first annual Mike Van Gorden Scholarship. Congratulations to Declan Papano.
Spartan Heads, here is our favorite Declan moment from this year's Shelby County Championship game.
First
Big
start
minutes.
for senior Papano.
Big minutes last night. Gets to continue that starting as a senior.
Honestly, one of the main reasons he and Noah Muldoon coming off the bench having terrific ball games. One of the main reasons the Spartans were able to win. Miller and DeArmond at the tip. Start the Shelby County Boys Tournament Championship game. Controlled by the Spartans. Man-to-man defense by the team in green. Hartzell to Papano, jump shot, corner three, got it!
What a way to start the game for the senior.
The whole bench, first kid up the bench to cheer was Hartzell.
And how good is that for your nerves? First start as a senior in your home gym at County, and you knock down the first shot.
On tonight's episode, we interview Southwestern soccer coach Taylor Meredith and hear his Spartan story, the most exciting tie in Southwestern soccer history, celebrate his 2020 seniors, and get a peek into his special hobby. All right, folks, so thanks for joining us here at Spartan Heads tonight. We've got Taylor Meredith, varsity head soccer coach at Southwestern. Coach Meredith, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's really cool you guys are doing.
Hey, I really appreciate that. So, interesting year for you this year. I mean, you're a very busy guy. Obviously, the world has changed, and you're now teaching from home, as most of us are working from home. But we'd really like to spend some time with you tonight talking about your soccer career and your soccer coaching, and then a little bit about yourself. So we'll start there. So Coach Meredith, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Just born and raised here in Southwestern community. Mom always says my first birthday, we moved here. And they sat me in a high chair in the front yard while they moved everything in and out of the house. So
happy. So you got a house for your birthday present. That's pretty great.
Yeah, exactly. So I was here ever since, K through 12 at Southwestern. Loved every minute of it. Went to college at Cincinnati Christian University for 3 semesters before I came back home. So from the time I was 0 to 1, and then a year and a half after I graduated, that was kind of the only time I've left. So
great. It's great. And so right now you've got a dual role. Obviously, you're the head coach of the varsity soccer program. But what's your day job for Southwestern?
Oh, we are teaching math online right now. And I don't have very many freshmen. I have a couple in geometry, and then I have algebra 2 and calculus and finite.
And where'd you graduate from college?
So my college career kind of bounced around a little bit. I ended up at Western Governors University, all online. So I went to Cincinnati Christian for a year and a half. I played 2 seasons of soccer, 1 season of basketball, and then I went to IUPUC for a little bit, and then took a break, and then eventually finished up at Western Governors.
Well, that's fantastic. So that there's a testament to a maybe a more non-traditional way of getting your post-secondary education. Not only completing it well, and completing it honestly in a subject where you're teaching finite math and calculus. Now you're teaching it online, which is where you took it. So tell us a little bit about your soccer career. You played soccer at Southwestern, right?
Yeah, I played Alexander Boston Shamas my freshman year, and then Coach Bill Taylor was the other 3 years. But yeah, I played at Southwestern, and then I had a lot of fun with it.
So I'm imagining with your athletic ability, you're probably a midfielder or one of the guys up front chasing the ball down, kicking it in, right?
Don't give me too much credit. I was actually in the goal. Didn't do very much running. So it was a goalie.
I might have remembered that and just had some fun with you there, but no, that's great. That's great. What kind of success did you have as a player?
In school, we were still one class system for soccer, so we never got past Columbus East or North in the sectional. But it was a lot of fun. We didn't have a conference or anything really, so I had some wins, more memories, and everything. Actually one of my good friends growing up was Isaac Overby. He's number 1 or number 2 all-time goals and assists. I'm missing our freshman year, so I don't know, but having him made things a lot easier for sure.
I bet it does. Makes you back in goal. They say, yeah, go score a goal so I don't have to worry as bad, right?
Exactly. I remember before every game, Isaac and I kind of had a ritual where we'd look at the other team, and I'd tell him, I'd say, Isaac, I'm going to need you to score 2 goals today, or if they look pretty good, I'd say, Isaac, I'm going to need you to score 4 goals today, and we'll be all right. Most of the time we get it done.
So Coach, I got to ask the question. So you transitioned from the player in the pregame as the coach in the pregame. Who do you call over, and what do you ask from them?
Well, a lot of times I try and build confidence. So if you ask most of the Hartzels and a couple of the other guys that play up front, I normally go up to them. We look at the other goalie for a little bit, and I normally kind of tell them how bad the other team's goalie is, just try and make them think that they really can just do it all. And one game, it actually worked out perfect because we said that, and then Anik kind of looked over at me before kickoff, and I was like, gave him a nod because the goalie was out quite a bit against Trinity Lutheran this year. And so Anik shot it right off the kickoff and scored, and we're up 1-0 5 seconds into the game. So
it's just that easy sometimes, right?
That's recon. That's what you do pregame, right? That's what you do pregame.
Exactly.
Oh, that's cool. Great. That's great. So as a coach, let's talk about kind of your coaching career. And I remember, I think is it the 2017 year?
December, so not really any coaching openings in the middle of the basketball season. But I went and scouted and whatnot for Coach Days and helped him out. And then the next year, Josh Sipes let me on staff there. So that was a lot of fun. So yeah, the year they won the sectional. I actually wasn't on staff that year, and then came in as head coach the following year. So that I was like, that 1 year that that I wasn't there. But they were an awesome group of kids.
We had a couple of really exciting games this year. We had the community night game, which we were very fortunate enough to be able. This is early on with Dave and I's new foray into trying to video and broadcast some different sports. And we came over for community night, and your guys really put on a show and had it down to the wire.
Yeah, that was one of the top teams on our schedule for sure. We were kind of the home stretch there, heading to the sectional in Central Christian. And like I said, it's most exciting tie I've ever been a part of. It's one of those things about soccer, you get in ties sometimes. But There was
So
seconds to go.
so
Yeah, go ahead.
I can't remember. I think did we score first or did they score first?
Yeah, we were up, and then they came back and got 2 of them on us. So we were down 1. A lot of the second half there, and then coming down, I don't know, a minute and a half to go, we sent almost everybody on a corner kick and went out of bounds, and it was still our ball with, I don't know, 30, 20 seconds left, and Christian DeArmond looked over at me as the go, and so we had all 10 guys in the box and 1 guy kicking, and somehow through, I mean, you play soccer with 11 on each team, so 22 guys, 1 taking the corner kick, 21 guys. Anik was able to find the ball somehow, so that was pretty awesome to be able to tie it up right there at the end of the game.
And
that was
I
really neat.
remember watching. We were setting over on your side, and I remember trying to keep my eye over here, but I kept looking at you, and you'd look over and you'd look back at Christian. You'd look over and look back at Christian. Like, is now the time? Because if you do it with 1:20 left and they get a kick, ball game's over. You had to wait until that exact right time in order to pull your goalie.
Exactly. It's one of those things. I mean, almost like a half-court shot in basketball that you practice 1,000,000 times on the driveway, but you might never get it. And so that's kind of the same thing where it's one of those things you play 1,000,000 times in your head, and then the one time it was actually right there was just cool to see it play out in our favor.
Why you
So
practice
I got to
it?
ask you, what'd you say, Dave?
That's why you practice it.
Yeah.
Exactly right. So you've played in probably a couple hundred games, and you've coached probably now close to probably half 100 games. How many times have you ever pulled your goalie?
Once.
How many times have you ever won when you've pulled your goalie?
No, but we tied that one at community night, so it was awesome.
That counts, right? It counts as
Exactly.
a goal kick win, right?
A tie feels like a win if you score the goal to tie it.
That's
It
right.
feels like a loss if you get scored on. And
That's
they-
exactly right. So your seniors you had this year.
Yeah, we had 5 of them actually. Connor Leach came out for the first time ever. He never played a varsity sport before and just wanted to give it a shot. So he was there with us. And Christian Lisby, kind of the same thing, but he started last year. And Lisby and I always talked about, he didn't get to play very much, but we always talked about this, his first ever practice he came to last year. I mean, it's the beginning of August or late July. It's hot out. And an hour into practice, he took off to the bathroom. And I was like, okay, I go. And then 5 minutes later, he's not back. And so I sent Noah Kelly. I was like, go check on Lisby, make sure he's okay. And he came back and he's like, hey, coach, the bathroom, there's puke everywhere. He's like, he didn't make it all the way. And he says his first day ever. And so from never playing a sport and that happening to them playing 2 years, never complaining, always having fun. It was just a great kid to have, and cool to see him just grow in these past 2 years for sure.
And so he was, there's an interesting point in a young man's life when, real adversity sets in, and it sounds like adversity set in on him in late July, early August in a very lonely place in the world. And
Yes.
but what it sounds like is it sounds like either from your perspective, coaching and supporting, or the support of his teammates, really give him an opportunity to shake that off and really be a part of the team.
Yeah, exactly. And that was cool because I didn't know. I mean, I texted him after practice, and I texted his mom, but I didn't know. I mean, if I had never done something before, and the first day I showed up, it was absolutely miserable or something like that. I don't know, especially at 16, 17 years old. So that was awesome that he was able to do that for us, for sure.
So that's 2 of your seniors. The rest of your seniors?
Then we also had Reagan Mangrum. So she did cross country and soccer, and actually very well at cross country. And I think that's one of the cool things about Southwestern is having some of these athletes that want to do 2 sports, but can excel at one really well, like she did, but then still also be a part of soccer and whatnot.
An interesting, Reagan Mangrum. I've followed cross country for a number of years at Southwestern, and Reagan Mangrum is one of the very few kids ever, including I think Carmen and Morgan Clark, Carmen Kissel, Morgan Clark and Reagan Mangrum. I think are the senior cross country runners 4-time county champion, 4-time Mid-Hoosier Conference champion. And I think Reagan might have been all conference in cross country all 4 years. I mean,
It might have been. I know she got quite a few awards. So yeah,
mean,
that's a special group that came through cross country wise.
It's just really remarkable. But I think the point that you make here is the love and passion for the game of soccer allows herself to submit and not be an all conference soccer player, but I want to be a part of the team and I want to help the program.
Exactly. Yeah, and she loved being a part of it and a part of the team, and then coming after cross country practice. And again, that's another thing we talked about Lisbon. I don't know if I'd come back. I don't know if I could go run 6, 7, 8, 10 miles a day. And then I'm going to go do something else again for an hour and stay
Come to soccer
outside.
practice.
Yeah, exactly. So kudos to her for doing that. And we are a co-ed team, but I mean, we don't play very many other co-ed teams either. So for doing that and a very much male-dominated sport for us, that even makes it more impressive. So it was awesome to have her part of it.
Yep.
And then the last two here, Christian Monroe. I've known him since, I don't know, he's real little. His older brother, Zach Monroe, was a great player who graduated a year before me. He graduated in 2010. So I played with Zach all growing up. I knew Christian and his little brother Braden since they were, I don't know, really young, watching him grow up in Blue River soccer and stuff. So just watching him grow and mature through the years. And then he was a huge key to our success this year as a defender. That was really cool. And then our last senior there, we had Drew Drake, who I just all around athletically might be one of the most athletic kids I've been able to coach and whatnot, plagued with injuries. Ended up on only 7 games, I think, this year. Like I said, just plagued with injury. But he's an awesome kid. He's going to Wabash to do track and field, and he's going to do big things there, I'm sure, especially when he can just focus on track and work out track year round. I think he's really going to shine.
I think he's a 6'6" high jumper.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, he's way up there. And that's enough. I mean, just all these kids that put in so much work and stuff. I don't know if we don't see. But again, in those June, July days where soccer we're working out, and a lot of times I'd show up a half hour early and Drew'd be out of the high jump pit in a full sweat. I mean, just busting it by himself, nobody there to push him, just busting it by himself to get better before coming to soccer. Just really cool.
And that there's the other reality that you would probably need to talk about, especially now, is I think next week or the week after, Drew then would be preparing for winning his conference. He probably would have already won county. And probably making a shot at, his senior year to make another run at going to state in high jump. And so there's a kid that's, you talked all summer, he's out in the pit jumping all by himself, waiting for these 3 weeks. And, it's an unfortunate reality, but the kid gets to learn right now. Life ain't fair. Life don't care. You can do all the hard work you want. Sometimes it just doesn't matter, but it's the character of the kid that allows him to put himself in a position to succeed if in case that does happen.
Exactly. And just to keep bragging on him, but the kid deserves it. That's even when these sports got canceled, and even though campus was closed, and I don't know when the next time he'll be able to jump competitively is. We were texting a little bit about just how he was doing and whatnot. And he was still working out and still doing jumping workouts, even though he knew he's not going to be able to jump for county conference, a state title this year. And when he goes to Wabash, I don't know the college schedule or how that's going to work, but who knows when the next competitive jump he's going to have is, but he's still working out and preparing for whenever that moment came.
But that's a great comment there. He'll be prepared whenever the moment arrives. So kudos. Now that's a great senior class. And so Coach Meredith, tell us a little bit about what's going on in this room you're in.
Yeah, it's actually my shoe room. My wife and I were looking to buy houses. I don't know how I got lucky enough to get my wife, but she would always ask it before I could, was where are we going to put your shoes as we were looking at houses. So we found this one, and we had some extra space upstairs, and we actually were able to have a whole room here to put my shoes.
So when folks at home, again, they can't see it. So when you talk about a shoe room, what do you mean by a shoe room? What kind of shoes do you have, and why do you have them?
Well, I worked at Nike for 4.5 years before I taught and whatnot. And somehow in there, when it was, you got your employee discount on top of all the other sales. So you start out with, oh, I can get those for $12. Yeah, I can get those for $15. And it starts to build. And then it builds to where it's like, oh, well, those are coming out and those are really cool. I got to get those because you already have so many. And it just one thing builds on another. But before I worked at Nike, I mean, growing up, it was, I got a pair of back to school shoes. And then after basketball season, my basketball shoes could get me through till the next back to school shoe. So it hadn't always been like this, but once I was working at Nike for so long, it just.
So if you want to give us a tour, maybe pull out a couple of your favorite pair, maybe unique pair, your latest pair. Give us a virtual tour.
For sure. It's pretty messy right now, but we'll give you a little tour here. I have some clear boxes over here I really like. I got that Space Jam Bugs Bunny for Christmas. There's some other Michael Jordan stuff up there that's pretty cool. And then we got some more down here. And then over here is just a big wall with all kinds. And my mom actually found that Michael Jordan at a flea market for $20 a while back.
Oh.
So I was very excited when she texted me and said, "You want this?" After there was some chore I had to do to get it.
Mom, I'll clean the gutters for that, Mom. You bet.
Exactly. So I was very fortunate to get just an old Gatorade advertisement, but it's a full-size, life-size cutout Michael Jordan. So that's pretty cool.
So you mentioned earlier you got a couple sets of shoes that are really kind of unique. You mentioned one was was it the chewing gum?
Yeah. One second. I'll take my headphones out here. So these actually aren't Nike. I mean, the majority of my shoes are Nike and Jordan. But when it comes to, I think, collaborations or just unique shoes, I really like. So when I saw New Balance was coming out with these, I had to have them. It's Big League Chew. It actually comes in a package like the Big League chewing gum would. And I remember growing up, I don't know why it was Big Lots, but every time we went to Big Lots, we got a pack of Big League Chew for the way home. Exactly. So they come in the package, opens at the top just like it. And see if I can get you to see inside here. They actually have down in here some like stringy confetti type stuff that's just like the chewing gum.
So from a marketing and branding standpoint, they went a little above and beyond there, but it worked.
Oh, absolutely. And that's when I thought I just for sure, without a doubt, had to have them. And
all right, which are those?
Oh yeah, these are the shoes. I mean, they're pretty cool. I got the guy on the back, and then kind of one of the coolest parts I think is it's got a bubblegum stain on the bottom, like you stepped in bubblegum.
Most prized pair, like that, is your most favorite pair, and then I'd like you to talk a little bit about the pair that you have that's worth the most.
Ooh, okay. I'd say one of my favorite pairs. Here I was prepared with all kinds. Actually, no, let me grab these here. These are one of my favorites that I got this year. Actually, Nike partnered up with a sneaker designer and let him kind of just do whatever he wanted. And he decided to go with the shark theme. So these have the swoosh replaced with a shark on it. If I can get a little closer for you, it's got like bloody teeth and everything.
Cool.
Too. So this is one of my, I don't know, prize pairs. So one of my favorite pairs, without a doubt. Just the shark, replacing the swoosh with a shark, I thought was pretty cool. Then worth the most. Give me 1 second to grab them here.
All right.
And I've had the chance to see the shoe room in person, so the camera's not giving it enough credit. I mean, it is wall-to-wall shoes, and he's got some really cool memorabilia of the original Space Jam stuff, and the Air Jordan poster behind him, and the life size poster that he just talked about. It's really a cool room.
All right. These here. So before like sneaker culture really took off, Nike let Jeff Staple design a shoe. This was early 2000s or late 90s. And again, sneaker culture really hadn't taken off where people were camping out for shoes and there was limited edition. But when people found these pigeon dunk, it's like this pigeon shoe that he created, they lined up for days in advance in New York City. And again, before people knew like sneakers were a big deal. And it was so big where like the cops had to come and like control everything. And they were scared for people's life that got the shoe, that they went in the front door one at a time, out the back door and straight into a taxi cab. The police department paid for taxi cabs to be lined up at the back door and take them out of the city. In case they were being followed, they didn't want them to go home. They had to leave New York City and then could come back. So I don't have those shoes, but Nike let him design another pair that I was fortunate enough to make some connections with a sneaker shop, pawn shop, skate shop in California, and get, he's kind of Asian descent, so he wanted to go with like a panda theme. It's got the pigeon on here from the New York City Times. And then the bottom of them is full of the headlines from that day after the first pair release of Sneaker Frenzy and everything. So probably one of the, I don't know how much, let's see, I got them for $100 and they're worth $400 or $500 or so the last time I checked. Definitely have not worn those yet. But definitely pretty cool. I was fortunate enough to get.
That's great. That is really great. So, man, that's a unique thing that not a lot of folks that I know collect, and it's really neat seeing you. Not only that you have them, but you understand the backstory behind them too. So Taylor, that's really great.
I mean, maybe the past player that I talked to the most, and just recent past, but Noah Muldoon is a big sneakerhead, huge in the sneakers as well, and we probably text daily or every other day. He'll show me something, or I'll show him something, or he'll have sold something for so much money, or I'll have sold something, and we'll just talk sneakers all the time.
We hope you enjoyed this special episode of Spartan Heads. Congratulations again to Declan Papano for being the first recipient of the Mike Van Gorden Scholarship.
Thanks to Coach Meredith for sharing some time with us, and make sure to tune in next week as we visit with Southwestern Wrestling Club coaches Josh Edwards and Brian Eversole as we learn more about our ever-growing wrestling club program.
And we'll have that segment we call History and Legends with the voice of the Spartans, Dave Covington, as he brings us his thoughts on the best basketball players from the 1980s.
As always, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Flat Rock Ag, Larry Moore Construction, Kokomo Grain, and Flat Rock Precision. For Dave Blondell, our executive producer, I'm Curt Carell. Thanks for tuning in to Spartan Heads.